sub alongside of, please.
Thanks, Daniel. 2-2. I suppose after where you were after half an hour, you'll be okay with the point. But overall, what's your feeling?
Yes, before game I would never sign a draw. Although I've heard that we as a club have, I think, not the best record here in London with the games. Everyone told me a point on the road in London is not only a good result. I never would sign a draw before game because we always play to win. So for that, after a draw, I'm also not dancing on the table tonight. But of course, during this period of the season, when you also have to play the third game within 6 days, and you are 2-0 down on the road, then to go away with 1 point, it's definitely valuable and important and a good point. Yes, QPR deserved to be in lead because we were poor the first 25, 30 minutes. Started okay with the ball, but our defensive awareness, sharpness against the ball was then not there. So we gave 2 easy situations away. Throw-in situation, reacted too late, 2 against 1 overload. The cross comes in, not switch on to defend for the second goal, and the first goal was more or less similar our whole behavior. So not great. What was good was the reaction of my team today. So we had a similar story of the game last season. Here we were also after 20 minutes 2-0 down and just let it happen. And today we showed resilience and wanted to fight the way back into the game, which is difficult. Obviously, it was good that after 25, 30 minutes we reacted to already get the one foot back into the door with a good goal of Junior Firpo, and then second half we were completely on it, equalized the game. Had 4 or 5 good situations, also like with delivery through the 6-yard box, and were perhaps so close to turn the game completely. But you always have to be aware QPR is a really good side, dangerous side here at home, that you don't concede a counter-attack. And even in the last moment of the game, once we had the corner and want to go for it, and the clearance with the head was then not that great. They we nearly allowed them also a counter chance. So for that, don't want to be too greedy. Of course, we wanted to win this game, but in the end, after this story of the game, it's a good point on the road, and we take it and brings us 1 point closer where we want to finish.
Yeah, I suppose your questions for you is, what is the way to solve that defensive unawareness, if you like, you talked about? Why does that happen?
Yes, I'm today a bit unhappy with myself because I thought more or less till the early hours in the morning to bring Ilia Gruev in. And whenever I brought him in our away games, our defensive awareness and sharpness is always a bit more on it, because it always sends a sign. No, we also have to show steel resilience against the ball. I wanted to take the momentum of our really good game, especially the second half against Millwall, and got also green light from our medical department that all the players are ready to go, also recharged and can be at their best. But of course, I was thinking about Ilia a lot because he gives us quite often this defensive awareness. Yeah, but I was a bit too greedy, and wanted to dominate the game. And this was then a bit the problems in the first 25, 30 minutes. Obviously, once you're then 2-0 down, then you don't have to bring more defensive awareness in that. You have to take some risks in order to bring the game more and more in the opponent's half and to create something with the ball. So for that, it was then a bit too late to make this change. Perhaps this played a role. I would be self-critical with this, but yes, of course, I would have wished that we were a bit more on it in these situations. I think the goals were just too cheap, and I think about the throw-in situations. Anyhow, we have a clear principle who defends them outside wide together with Mano Solomon 2 against 2. Yeah, but if we're too lazy to move out and to react, then they use this for a little give and go and a corner kick. A cross. Who comes in, then it's also like a bit difficult. But so for that, more it was the third game within 6 days. Also for my players, I'm a bit more self-critical with myself, that although I was tempted to bring Ilia for the defensive awareness in, I didn't do this.
What you did do was bring William Yonto on at half time there, Daniel. And how impressed were you how he helped change the game?
I was convinced he would make an impact. If I'm really honest and tell you a secret, I was also thinking about him in this position from the beginning on. If I would have brought Ilia Gruev in, I think I would have opted also to play really from the start. But because I opted for our 2 ballers, for our 2 number 10s in the double 6 rollout, Tanaka and Joe Roswell, I thought, okay, we can't then afford to lose a bit the running and the relentless work of Brendan Aronson, number 10 position, against the ball. So I was really thinking before the game about this double change perhaps in these positions. Perhaps we would have had a better start if I would have done this, but really looked sharp also in his last substitutions. For him, it's a bit difficult because he's of course naturally not a central player. He's more a winger, and we have our inform wingers with Daniel James and Mano Solomon on this position. It's tough for him, although I like him so much, and he delivers relentless work also in training to improve, and had also some good cameos when he came in. But even before the game, I was thinking a bit, although he has perhaps not that much convinced on number 10 position. We've played him 1 or 2 times already there, and Millwall against the Cup was not the best outcome. But the feeling is he's also learning a bit more and more to create good situation in the center, and this is also what he did in the second half. Perhaps not with this pressing load anyhow, but he played a also decisive pass before we equalized. Was involved in this goal, and was a good performance. And yeah, thank God he has delivered what I was hoping for.
Has Malak calmed down? He looked a bit unhappy about being substituted.
Yes, Mano is always unhappy when he's not playing all 97 minutes, but I think he can't complain too much about the game time. He started all the 3 games within 6 days. This is also what I mentioned in one of the last press conferences. You asked me if you substitute anyhow, then you keep the players more happy. If a substitute comes in and plays 10 minutes longer, I guarantee you he's not much more happy because they all want to start. And the others will be more unhappy anyhow because they can't finish the game. So you just have players happy once they play each and every second of the game. And for that, I quite like also this attitude. He wants to be on it and wants to be rested. He's an important player for us, and also today created a lot. I was hoping for perhaps one lucky punch of Laji Ramazani anyhow, because he can deliver sometimes some magic also when I bring him in. A little problem with my heart when he tried to clear the counter attack with a header also in the 93rd minute, because we nearly conceded the counter attack. It was not to be today. Yes, but 5 minutes after the game, everyone is calmed down and ready to go again. I've got a great group, and of course they cannot be also disappointed a little bit when they are not allowed to play each and every second.
Finally, for me, Daniel, you have a lot of important players, not just Mano Solomon, and a lot of them are out on international duty. Would you say a prayer now? Anxious time for you?
Yes, 2 or 3 prayers. I hope that they come back with good memories and good results, and also in a good mood. Clear the head a little bit, and hopefully also without injuries. It will allow ourselves also to bring a few players a bit closer to the team. Hopefully, Isna Padu, Max Wöber, and Patrick Bamford, to get them a bit closer in this upcoming 2 weeks. Important players for us. It's crazy how long we have to play without our captain, without our most important player, Isna Padu, during this season. So normally you would say it's beneficial for us also to recharge a bit, because it's not just the load right now; it's also the mental pressure. Yeah, once you're involved in a relegation battle or promotion fight, and then also the pressure is there for the players. I'm used to it, but these are no robots. It's all young human beings, and for that it's also sometimes important for them to get a little rest right now and to recover a bit, and then we go again for the upcoming 8 games.
I don't know if you've seen the data yet, but did you detect any tiredness in that first half? If not physically, then mentally, perhaps.
Yes, when you don't start on the front foot, then you always have to say that there is a reason that the mental sharpness was not there. So overall, it has nothing to do with being physically tired, because they were able to step out at least 2 gears from minute 25 or 30 on. So if you are capable to do this, then you can also do this in the first 25 minutes. Yes, I was of course more hoping for a bit more sharpness and defensive awareness and willingness also to do the dirty work. It's sometimes the case once you're that dominant like we were against Millwall in the second half. Perhaps you underestimate, because we started quite good on the ball, but it's more like we tired ourselves a little bit by the start and lost then also the basic, and the basic is also like defensive awareness in the final moments. And yes, mentally the sharpness in the first 30 minutes it was not perfect. Yes.
When you talk about Willie not quite having convinced as a 10, what would you say are the steps for him to become that player, or to convince you that he's ready?
No, I wouldn't say not have convinced as a 10. The problem for him is more or less he has never really played as a number 10 in the possession side. He always played as a winger or in his early years and as a striker. And also like his physical output is different. Yeah, it's more like we can't afford in the center, yeah, whatever, to cover just on this position, whatever, not enough distance in the pressing, and it's a heart of the game. You have to be capable also like to shift and to run and to start the pressure. And if you then have also perhaps the setup with the two number sixes are more ballers and not like defensive machines, yeah, then you can't afford more like an old school number 10 who is just standing and waiting till he gets the ball. He's improving a lot because he is improving also his endurance and also to be more involved in the games and something like this. He has played for us, yeah, because I also like his potential on this position. A few times there in the cup game and in the game against Millwall, and of course, I don't expect them that he cuts the world into pieces if he's more or less the first time in his career playing this role. But we don't have that many specialists on this position, so for that, yes, we've also played Joel in this position, and I also want to try more and more Willie in this position. I would say this 45 minutes were by far his best spell in this position, and yeah, happy that he adapts also to this position a little bit more.
Yeah. You spoke about last year's game and Thursday's press conference. After half an hour, did you quite believe what you were seeing, and it looked like it was happening again, didn't it?
Just happens in football, huh? But this also like, yeah, as unhappy as I was with the first 30 minutes, and I was pretty critical also at halftime. But even after the game, I told the lads, listen, this has to be also a bit the difference, because it was more or less the same story of the game last season. We were after 20 minutes 2-0 down, and we let it happen today. We showed resilience and togetherness, and found one and two more gears during the game. And this is what I like a lot, especially during such a busy spell anyhow. And his credit to the team spirit, credit to the togetherness, lots of praise for them. But doesn't mean that next game I also want to start not that defensive aware like we were today in the first 30 minutes. Saying this, still keeping in mind that QPR went there on it, a really good side, especially also here at home. They had top class performances anyhow, and we know this team is always capable also to go on a run of 5-6 wins in a row. The last unlucky results were always just with one goal, so we know that we face a really, really strong opponent, and for that, not happy with the first 25 minutes, yes, but overall it's definitely a good point for us on the road.
How was Brendan at halftime after the error that you made? He didn't want to do it, but how was his head after?
Yes, he was, of course, disappointed. So he always puts a shift in, and his workload against the ball is outstanding. I think also he was unlucky last games. He assisted to goals anyhow, and then the assistant had an idea and ruled it out. Today, sadly, he had an assist, but for the opponent's team, of course, he would have preferred to handle different. I like that he runs back, wins the ball back in our own box, but of course he has to be then more aware, more tidy with his pass. Of course, he was disappointed, and then for that, he doesn't need more stick from myself. It's more like give him a hug, and of course, he was also disappointed that he had to come off, but we wanted to take more risk and wanted also then to use Willie in this position, and thank God.
Thank you.
Daniel, it's last season. I don't want to remind you, but you got 90 points from 46 games. You had Ipswich and Leicester just in front of you. You had a really good season. This year, it's the same thing with Leeds, obviously. Then you got Burnley and Sheffield United. Again, a second year of super high performances. You must be really proud of your team for nearly 2 years with a lot of wins in there.
Yes, I'm proud of the lads, also my staff. I work with a brilliant group together. And also last season, 90 points was, I think, the first time in 2 decades that this team was not there with automatic promotion. The heartbreaking finish at Wembley, they would have deserved much more, because we came from a difficult situation where the first 3 months we was not even clear after relegation who would stick with us, and with an unbelievable run, we're always in the chasing position last season, 15 points behind Leicester and Ipswich, and closed the gap, and we're finally there in the end. Of course it was disappointing and heartbreaking for the lads, but also not the easiest summer, I have to say. I lost important players, but we rebuilt a good group again, and we're delivering well. Don't want to compare this too much, but right now with 8 games to go, we are on 80 points right now. This is quite impressive, but yes, we have not reached 99 points marked or not overachieved it like in comparison to last season. So for that, lots of work to do. We want to win as many points as possible, and then we see what the outcome is. But the way is also sometimes important. I like a lot the way. I like the resilience that we show. We're not always at our very best. Yeah, today also not at our very best, but what we always show is big heart and great mentality, and this is also quite crucial. And this is always a basic to have the opportunity at least to have something to cheer about come next May.
Isaac, very honest.
Daniel, I'm just get your thoughts on the red card at the end, because it could have ended much worse for Dan James. How is he?
Yeah, seems to be okay. He has a few bloody marks on his calf, but I hope it's not too bad and that he can also fly to the national team.
And just reflecting on, you've had a really busy week, a lot of travelling. Just reflecting on the last 3 games in 7 days, what was your assessment of those?
Oh, I'm not so much in the review mode, if I'm really honest, because my full focus was only on this game. But when I think about the week overall, after unbelievable long unbeaten streak, 17 games in a row, then yeah, to concede the first defeat in this year is always like, you can have a unbelievable run before, but one defeat, it always does something with confidence. It's important that you then answer straight away with a win. This is what we did with a pretty convincing performance against Millwall. Yes, and when you have then a difficult game on the road, if you could guarantee me right now, we keep going exactly like this, we win our home games and draw away, we would be on a pretty good point tally come the end of the season. I wouldn't sign it because I never signed for draws, if I'm honest. But if we would be able to manage to do this, then yeah, happy days. So for that, definitely a good end of our week. And right now it's also about to recharge. We're not over the moon with the draw, but we're content, and for that we keep going.
Thank you.
And you said over the years, such a great, you better integrate a few lads close to the group, chance to do that. Will you get a chance to have a breather as well? Will there be a chance to, sort of take your mind off it for a couple of days? Will you even be able to relax for a couple of days?
Yes, obviously it's difficult because I would say 60 or 70, I think 12 or 13 players are in total away. Then it's also a bit difficult. Also, like it's not possible then to work a bit on team tactical things. It's more like you can also like work on individual things and also a few details, and you have a bit time for exercises and training sessions that during a normal week you don't have that much. And I quite like this international break, so and to use this, but a bit more individually as a team. And quite often it's also that quite often important players and starters are away with the national teams and not the other way around. So for that, it's of course a bit tricky. Yes, we will definitely allow ourselves also to calm the load a bit down in the first week, but then from the middle end of this week, then we'll be on it also with concentrated, focused work, and this leads in more and more day by day into a setup. I will just have the group together then from over next Thursday, or I think the last one just Friday, back in training to prepare more or less for next home game on Saturday. But it is what it is. We're also used to it, and for that, no complaints. We'll try to use it also after a long season so far, only to recharge a bit and then to have the energy for hopefully the final 5 weeks.
Can I ask you, will you personally get a chance to recharge yourself?
No, as a manager, Martin knows this, so you just enjoy the summer break. You just switch off when there's a summer break and you don't have to worry about this. So yes, of course, we also have a bit more free time anyhow, but then quite often you use it perhaps also like in order to do a bit planning for the next season or whatever. So yes, of course, you have a bit more time, and it's also important that you try to recharge a bit and enjoy this a little bit, because you can't be like a candle who is always burning from 2 sides. We do this in our job anyway. So for that, you need to use also this moment to recharge a bit. I try my best, but I won't stop working just in a bit more relaxed circumstances.
Last one at the over.
Afternoon, Daniel. I think the cliche is pressure is a privilege. Given your position in the table and how close everything is that your message for the players to relish the pressure instead of be afraid of it?
Pressure is a privilege. I quite like it. Yes, I take it. Exactly in this way. Yes, if you become a football player, you want to be involved in to have something to play for. Not that much in the relegation battle anyhow, but it's also sometimes spicy, and the best parties are quite often when you make sure that you're over the line, And on the other hand, yes, of course, you're playing for titles. So thank God I was really privileged a few times in my career as a manager to fight for a title. And yeah, these are good experiences, and of course always a nervy period and a difficult period. But this is also what you want to have as a manager. So and also as a player, because even as a manager, you're still competitive, and you're fighting for something special, and you want to create something special. We know that we have the chance as Leeds United in the last 2.5 decades. This club is just once promoted to the Premier League under Marcelo, and this without supporters because it was COVID times. And we would have the chance the first time within 25 years to be promoted with our supporters. And I can imagine what a party this would be in Leeds. So for that, all the hard work and all the pressure, yes, is definitely worth it if you have the perfect outcome. And of course, we want to have the perfect outcome.
Thanks everyone.